different spawn positions can really change how this game goes.
Oh yeah, completely, and can also open up another opportunity if Monty wanted to go for another proxy Stargate, or heck, even a Stargate in his main base to go Oracle if we saw horizontal, or pardon me, vertical spawn positions. Definitely can do that, but same for BSTQT. BSTQT can do those Widowmine drops well, and even though we haven't seen one quite out of him yet, always that could happen, and looks like we're going to have those spawn positions. Here in the top right-hand corner, we have the purple Terran. It is BSTQT.
And in the bottom right, we have our light blue Protoss. It is Monty. So, as we just mentioned, we have got interesting spawn positions for these players. Beastie Cutie can easily drop. The drop locations here are so close, and there's a lot of fog of war in these, in this base where those drops would be going. Now, I say Beastie Cutie could easily drop, so can Monty. Monty can easily drop as well. However, I wouldn't be surprised when Beastie Cutie learns where our Protoss player is, if he did have more drops planned in mind than normal.
I love this banter between them. Bases with purple minerals, heck, I'd be down for it. And as you were saying, a little bit of it's all going to come down to those scouting patterns. Monty decides to take the long way around. Will Beastie QT do the same? Looks like Beastie QT opening up with a Reaper fast expand. I mean, he'll have a little bit quicker of a scout, but still, it's all, does he scout Monty in the right position first? How does this go down? Will he go to the vertical spawn position?
The SCV heading out. Where is it going to go?
Gonna head on down to the bottom right, it looks like, and that's gonna be perfect for Beastie QT. It could show himself. Of course, Monty's gonna know kind of the same thing about the same time after scouting the top left, but that probe has the opportunity to scout into the main and see double assimilator and just, a lot of other things.
Yeah, he's gonna see, he's gonna see the expansion. He's gonna get the idea that this is pretty standard Protoss opener, nothing too crazy is coming out. Monty, on the other hand, he's not going to get too much of a read here just yet. He is scouting his opponent last.
Right now, Monty just realized about it, but Beastie QT, he's going to scout it and see a normal base, and actually he's not even going to see the main, but he's pretty much a normal base, and so he's just going to park that SCV right there. He's going to have a good time.
That SCV.
Ooh.
He's hiding there.
This is kind of crazy, but could you potentially see like a bunker? You have a medevac bring the Marines over. You have like a bunker and you leapfrog into the base or something? Or man, that SCV also could just be hot. Sitting under a tree right there, depending on your graphics setting. Having a good time.
Look what we've got from Monty, though. We have got a Proxy Twilight. I have a feeling this will be for Proxy Dark Shrine. I guess you could like Proxy hide your Blink. I mean, this is a decent map for Blink, to say the least, but you kind of see DT behind this when it's so proxied. Looks like this SCV was here for that later scout.
Exactly. Timing it out to where normally, let's say that proxy was in the main base. It would have seen the Twilight Council and the Blink on the way. Pretty much Beastie QT would have had the perfect scout. However, that's not what Monty is doing, and realistically, it's kind of funny. At first I thought, okay, if it's a proxy Stargate, it's actually farther away than he would have been if he did it in his main, but this is even better. It's farther away than he currently is, so not going to be a likely chance of Beastie QT scouting it, but I feel like with that, you're just generally going to kind of go Robo, or pardon me, not Robo, you're generally just going to kind of go heavy defense as the Terran when you're unsure what's going to happen, you can get your vision up, etc., and Beastie QT should be okay, but as you said, Koshkii, this map, it's so hard to defend if you have the third base.
Yes, and it is definitely proxy Blink. I now that I think about it, what I said, it makes more sense to have it proxied. Beastie Cutie would have scouted it with that SCV hiding there. So it's a good thing that Monty did indeed have that proxied. Yeah, he's getting more gateways. He's starting to prepare for his attack. And as you said, if Beastie Cutie takes that third base that's nearest to his main, things could get pretty nasty, as you can just blink between those two bases.
Monty sees the drop heading across the map, the same time, just FYI, BSTQT does have that Zelnaga, so he does know, he does have a lot of scouting information, but I don't actually know if Monty saw it. His observer was in range, but here is 4 Widow Mines heading on in. There's double motor overcharge, but 2 of the Widow Mines are not within the range of that motor overcharge, and looking for an angle. Looks like only none of them will get down cap, only none of them but 1 more Widow Mine. I don't know if we can have any chance at that. BSTQT may just head on home, but still, right now, that Monty's got to deal with, there's something out there in the fog of war, and even a Liberator. BSTQT is just doing the Terran thing, Lacey, the Void, honestly. There's so much harassment capability.
And this is actually working in BSTQT's favor. The blink has finished. This kept Monty home for a little bit longer than he wanted.
Those Stalkers are heading across the map, but the Zelnaga spawns, and here's a Widowmine. Beautiful, picks up 4, and now the Liberator at the natural. Monty, he has to do damage with this push, or BSTQT is going to physically tear him apart.
Yeah, we do have a couple more Stalkers warped in there at the Nat. An observer on the way to catch that Widow Mine. The Stalker's getting ready to blink into the main base. However, there's the observer for the high ground vision.
Hey man, BSTQT may be supply blocked. Maybe supply blocked, but now he does know about what Monty is up to. He knows the position of the Stalkers. BSTQT has 2 siege tanks in the main, or pardon me, he's got a siege tank in the natural, siege in the main, and lots of Marines, so there's not a ton at the natural, but there is just enough, I think, to buffer. However, blink is done. Looks like, ooh, interestingly enough, Monty takes the defensive blink, which means he's still got 4 or 5 seconds where he can't push in again. He's got to kind of hang back, and that's enough time for BSTQT to redistribute some Marines.
Yeah, just 2 SCVs going down right now. Not the biggest deal. We've got tanks getting into a better position now. A couple more supply depots falling, but Monty probably hasn't gotten the damage done that he wanted to at the moment.
But that is just a distractionary force with a drop. It looks like maybe heading into the main. There's a warp prism warping in the bottom middle right at the moment. For Monty's got a lot more Stalkers, but the Stalkers are going to blink into a Liberation Zone, into a Siege Tank, into a lot of Marines. And here we go, double Liberation Zone. Siege Tank is there. The Stalkers won't really be able to blink on top of it. They do pull back, but now there's Marines. There is SCVs being pulled, and they do have the opportunity to get damage done. But before that can happen, BSTQT actually decides to fall back onto the Siege Tank, which, because of his SimCity is fighting, that was honestly a beautiful defense right there from BSTQT. He only lost 3 workers.
Yeah, that was very well done. He did lose a tank. He did, I believe he lost a tank. And he lost a couple Liberators, but, you know, he's still doing okay with this economy. However, the Blink Stalkers, they're moving there into the Nat. 1 bunker getting close to falling. It does go down.
Gotta remember, BSTQT did kind of plan for this a little bit earlier on with a 3rd CC in his main. He has preempted this, and so he can move down to that 3rd position if he wants to, but they just make it much harder to defend overall. Right now, he's kind of grasping on to the last shreds of hope, but for the same time, with Monty on the other side of the map, there's no 3rd base on the way. He's all into these Stalkers, and there is the big link forward. 1 Siege Tank almost wants to speed boost into that. The Siege Tank itself with a medevac, but it looks like it's going to fall back, and it's just a lot of shelling potential. The Stalkers are going to have to blink down in low ground. There's just so much right here. Yeah, it's just everything. He blinked into an explosion.
To lose the Warp Prism is... You kill the Warp Prism, you kill the Rush. Like, that was a big deal for Monty, and now there's no high ground.
No high ground vision,
Monty only has a few Stalkers left. This is all of a sudden looking very scary for him, and GG.
I'll admit it, Monty had some really great builds overall, but BSTQT, you know, before all this, I said, you know, those Warp Prism drops, they're just like water. They get through the Terran defenses, but BSTQT just continually did a great job. There wasn't that many Warp Prism drops, but everything else, he just pushed back. And, you know, when he wasn't sure what was going on, he just took the defensive posture. He didn't take a gamble. He said, I think I have the better control of the macro. I'm gonna fall back onto what I know best and what I do best. And heck, he defended 3-1. He's gonna move on to the semifinals.
Very well done. BSTQT showing that he can hold well in the face of aggression. He has done very well tonight. Monty, too. Monty had some very good play. I really enjoyed watching the Phoenix Adept.
I did like that.
But
Also trying out something new. Cool.
I think we are going to go to a quick break just while we get our next game sorted. So stick with us though, because we'll be back shortly.